Welcome to Grant Derenberger's podcast. Cue the intro! Alright, on today's podcast, I'm here with Lincoln Derenberger, who is also my brother. So, I don't know what the podcast name is, but we're gonna find out soon. You'll already know because you saw the intro, but okay. Alright, so podcast number 1. We have 6 points of topic today. So let's just get right into it. Alright, Lincoln, so what are your ALWB rankings? Like, who do you think is gonna be first, second, third, and fourth in the league this year? And without counting upsets, like just general. So like who's going to get the most amount of wins, and then you'd say that they got all the wins, then they won everything, and then who's going to get last place who lose everything. Upsets we'll talk about later, but who do you think is going to go first, second, third, and fourth?
I think first would be the Castle Kings. Honestly, I think they go a win against every single team. I think the only close match for them would be the Mastodons. And second, I'd place the Mastodons. They're a really good team. They can beat the Bombers and Ducks easily, but it'll be a challenge if they could ever beat the Kings. Then in third place, I place the Bombers. I think they'd be in third place. Only being able to beat the Ducks, or maybe Mastodon win, but I don't think. Maybe. And then fourth place, the Ducks.
Alright, so thank you for sharing your rankings. So, upsets in the league. Who do you think is, like, some upsets? So, an upset would be a lower team beating a higher team. So, since you put the Kings as number 1, there would be no upsets. Like, the Kings wouldn't force an upset. They could get forced into an upset. But do you think anyone is going to beat the Kings this year?
No. Unless two teams merge.
So, what do you mean by that?
If we have, maybe the Mastodons and the Ducks might merge, or the Bombers and the Ducks. If they merge, there might be a chance. Like, if they put all their good players onto one of the teams, and then they put all their bad players onto another team, they might have a chance against the Castle Kings.
Yeah. Good points of interest. Do you think there's going to be any upsets with the Mastodons?
Yeah, I think the Bombers might upset them if the Kings are, the Mastodons are missing either Ryan or Nico. Either one of them, if they're not there, I think the Bombers might have a chance if they have their full roster there.
Yeah. Do you think that the Ducks have any chance of beating the Bombers this year, and do you think any upsets are going to happen during that game?
I think it's very low for it. I'd say maybe there are two players, one really good, their best player on the team, and maybe an average player on their team. If they're not there, I think the Ducks might have a chance if they have everybody showing up, which is not a fact that everybody will show up there.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, no upsets can happen. Like, the Ducks cannot force an upset because they're the lowest. Oh wait, no, they could. Do you think the Ducks are going to upset any team in the league? Do you think they're going to beat any team in the league?
I said the Bombers, if under specific circumstances, I think they might beat the Bombers, but I think it's a very, very low chance that they have a game won.
Alright, so thank you for talking about the ALWB. That's our 2 points of interest there. Alright, so we got the video, we saw it on Instagram, on the Kings Instagram page, which has been up for, I think, 6 months now, something like that. But we saw that you had said, here, insert the clip.
I don't want to play for a losing organization.
Okay, so as you can see in that clip there, you said that you didn't want to play for a losing organization. I mean, is that actually true, or why did you actually quit for them? And be honest on this podcast.
I would say it would be not that I would be a losing organization, just something funny to post, but it's part of the reason I don't want to be on the Ducks anymore. But most of the reason is the main reason I don't want to be on the Ducks is because of I switched over manager roles to Tyler Hanna, which he is kind of taking it too bossy, and he's kind of like, he wouldn't let me play any positions that I really wanted to, and he would be the like all-time pitcher throughout the game. So I wanted to go off of the Ducks for that reason, and also I wanted to go off because I wanted to help with managing the Kings for my eventual team. I want to be on. I want to be an umpire and the announcer for all the games. So I'm just trying to become those other positions to help fill in roles. And just taking a break from the league might help me with, and I'd also get some training in during that. So I just think I come back in 2026 with a fresh start.
So would you like explain? I know you talked to me a little bit about this, but your reason for quitting was because, I mean, if I could sum it up real quick, it was because you didn't get enough playing time, and when you switched over manager roles, he wasn't letting you pitch, and then you were getting trash talked a bunch, right?
Yeah.
Alright, and then
I also want to try out some other positions like umping and announcing games.
Yeah. But with quitting, did you do that on purpose so that you could get onto the Kings, so that you could get, well, you'd be put into the draft, so it's not a guaranteed chance that you get onto the Kings, but is that to get onto the Kings, is that your end goal there?
Yes, it is my end goal, but I also don't want to be in the Ducks anymore for the reasons that I stated, and I also try out some umping and announcing and all those different roles. Taking a break from the league might help me, so that's why.
Okay. So when you go into the draft, do you think that after this podcast, like, some of the team managers will look at this and they'll be like, oh, I'm going to pick up them before the Kings because the Kings will probably have the last draft pick, you know what I mean? So do you think that one other team is going to pick you up before the Kings just to upset the Kings? Do you think that could happen, or is it a high possibility?
There is a possibility, but I'd say it is a very out there choice, since if I'm on any other team, I'd probably just quit.
Yeah, so you just quit again?
Yeah, I'd quit again until they'd eventually not want me, since they would take a pick that their pick wouldn't show up. So they want to get a better player than me to get on their teams, because I'd probably quit.
Alright, so, our next question. Do you as Lincoln want to be an MLW?
Yes, eventually. It'll take a long time to get there, and I also have a lot of areas to work on, but eventually my goal is to go to the...
Yeah. How long do you think it's going to take you to get there, and what do you need to get done before then to get you into MLW?
I think it might take me until, I think maybe if I'm in like another 6 years maybe to get there. I think I need to work on my hitting, and to control how fast I pitch and my accuracy. And those are mainly the areas that I need to focus on for it. I think base running, I think I got base running down.
Yeah. Alright. And then 6, and our final point of tonight. Do you think that any rule changes in the ALWB are going to make a difference in this season or in the future? And some of those rule changes being the 1/4 considered changing from 1/2 to 1/4, and the King Stadium dimensions, which are huge, and then also any other rules that you would put in there.
Yeah, for the 1/4 considered rule, I think it'd take down on pegging, since Grant has got pegged really hard by Ryan. And it went out of bounds, so a run got to score. I think it'll cut down on pegging, since they won't lead off as far, because if they go over that 1/4 and they have to have a mad dash towards the home plate. So I think it'll cut down on pegs on third base. And the Kings field dimensions are kind of wonky. If you hit onto the right side of the field, it's not as it's more in towards it. It's not as far to hit, so that's mostly where I think home runs would be.
Yeah, because that's 89 feet there, which is 1 foot shorter than what the Pennyroyal Park up here used to be.
Yeah, and it's also, I think it's 120 feet at the deepest.
It's 115 to center, and then it's 105 to the left. Deepest is also center, which is
115. So 115. I don't think many people can hit that. If we had a bat change to more different types of bats, like blitzball bats and other bats that people think are juiced, they might their chances of hitting a home run might become greater.
Okay. So I mean, we've seen Evan hit. I mean, we don't have the film, or otherwise we put it into this podcast. But Evan Hanna hit a 125-foot bomb. I mean, off of you. So I'm not trying to put this on you or anything, but he put a 120-foot bomb to left field. I mean, that was way over there. So anywhere in the park down at the King Stadium, that would have been out. Do you just think that on that pitch that you could, if you were a little bit faster, you wouldn't have hit it that far, or what do you think you didn't do on that pitch?
On that pitch, we were already losing, so it's kind of like just putting me up there on the mound, seeing if I could help. And it was also, they had the juice bats, so they were using standard wiffle bats. As of now, he was using, I think, like a juice blitzball bat, which that's why it hit so far. But pitching, I think if I pitched that even just a little faster, it might have not have gone far. If he had dead contact on if I pitched it fast and he had dead contact, it would have went farther. But I think if I pitched it faster and he just tipped it, it wouldn't have gone out.
So you were talking a little bit about the blitzball bats and other types of bats. So I think you and I were talking earlier today about this, and we had talked about the United Whiffs 2023 rules, and in their equipment section, like the third thing, I'll put it up here on the screen right now, but it says the bat must be rounded on all sides, cannot exceed 38 inches in length, 2 3/4 inches in diameter. The bat may be taped to preserve the life of the bat, like orange Nerf bats, because they have like the foam and stuff, but cannot exceed 2 3/4 inches in diameter. United Whiff reserves the right to inspect and declare an illegal bat for use. But so using that rule, I know you and I think are gonna bring it up in the conversation at the committee meeting, because I think that that's a good rule, because I think with the extending fences and shorting fences, it would be easier to hit it far, and it'd just be like a lot easier, you know what I mean? And with bats that could be juiced, you know, to hit very far, I think that we should use those rules, and it wouldn't exclude any of the regular wiffle ball bats or anything. So if people that have already taped that and already have done that to their bats, I mean, good for them, because I know Evan's done a couple cool designs, like the Hype Fire. I think he did the Ice Fire too. But I think that if we use those bats, it would make the playing field a lot easier and a lot more even. Because I know the pitchers are getting faster and stuff. So more home runs would be pretty good this season. So what do you think about that?
I think the juice bats would be a lot better for the league. More people would hit, and especially the people who aren't good at hitting, they might get their hitting up. So I think it'll help the league in a better way than worsening it. So that's what I think about it.
Yeah. And some of those bats that, I mean, just to highlight a couple things, like the blitzball bat, the original wiffle ball bat, Nerf bats, like the foam stuff. So people that have been talking to us about that, this Louisville Slugger ones. Then we also have the Sweet Spot bat, which I know is absolutely juiced and hyped. It's pretty heavy. I know it can break wiffle balls, so maybe we'll have to get something on there.
A weight limit?
Yeah, maybe something like that, but I don't know. We could mess with the rules and talk to the committee. But also, speaking of the committee, now as you're the king and we have appointed you as the Kings representative in the committee. How do you think that you're gonna do it now?
I think everybody on the Kings, I'll give them a fair chance. I think I'll point out spots that need to be worked on, and I'll agree with other committee members if they have their points. And I won't try to argue as much. I won't try to make the conversation more heated. I don't want any fights or people sending rude texts to people. So
Yeah.
I think I'd do well in that spot.
And then I think, unless I can think of any more points before the end, this might be our final point. Tyler Hannah's suspension, Evan Hannah's suspension, and Anderson Wright's warning. What do you think about the whole situation? How do you think that if you were the commissioner, how do you think that you would have made that situation better or limited it?
I would say that I think texting rude things to people is just not okay for it. A suspension doesn't work. They might have to sit out the rest of the season, and it might help them think about their choices. Or you could just say that they can't text anymore. We have a committee to talk to all people, because if you don't want to say it in front of everybody, then don't say it.
Yeah, I mean, even saying it in front of people, I mean, I know Tyler was not stopping when he was talking there. I mean, I know Nico and I had told him to stop. I mean, I got a little involved, you know. And then, I mean, we told him to stop, and then I took him out. Evan added him back a couple times, and then, he got added back, and then we just ended up kicking them out. So Evan and Tyler are now banned from the texting group chat. Anderson's still in, but I mean,
With this warning,
yeah, even through the conversations that I've still been having with Tyler personally, he's still pretty heated about it all. I mean, and that even plays into why you quit, because I was working with a trade to get you and trade Jaden Liggett to get you, and so I was working with a trade, and then Tyler got a little heated about it and said some things. Those things will not be exposed to the public in any way, to the ALWB players. It won't even be shown to the committee. It will be, I'm going to keep it a secret. But let's just say it didn't go out well. I told Lincoln that his best bet was to get on the Kings was to wait till the next draft year, and because if he gets cut, then a team can sign him. But if he quits, then he can get drafted the next year. So I mean, it isn't a loophole because we're just following the rules. There isn't like anything with it. But
and the other teams could pick me. That is their choice.
But they basically just not be getting you because you either aren't going to show up or you're going to quit.
Yeah.
But, so, I think that with, with everything said and done, I think it was a nasty situation. I can assure you that, with the Ducks, the Kings will not be making any more trades with the Ducks at all for a very long time, until either managing switches to anyone or something with calm down. I mean, Bombers and Kings, pretty good friends. Mastodons and Kings are iffy, with the Evan situation, because he's brothers with Tyler, so he was defending him. Evan also said some nasty stuff, but we'll just leave it there. I mean, I fed off of it, and so I was also in there, and I said some nasty things, but, there was one text message in particular that Tyler sent to me that was uncalled for. We'll go with that. So if you're seeing this, Tyler, just know that, you should not be sending those things to anyone, and have a great rest of your night, but not this podcast, just you. So, finally, so the Kings have decided, well, I mean, we thought, the Kings thought that, we needed a little rivalry in the league, if you know what I mean. And if we chose the Ducks as our rivals, if we chose the Ducks as our rivals, it would be more of like a blowout every single time, and so it wouldn't be really of a rivalry. If we chose the Bombers, it wouldn't be right because we're really friends with them and stuff. But it would Bombers would be the long time, friend rivalries because like
the friends that the fighting friends.
Yeah. But Mastodons, they decided to do that, and so the Kings will do this now to do the Mastodon sign, or this, well, just this, as a Mastodon sign as they're running down, and then they'll flip it up to like do the opposite, like the Texas Longhorns, down and stuff. So they'll do this, and then it also means a win, but it's also the opposite of an M. So what do you think about that, and do you think that the Mastodons are going to respond with making it a rivalry, or do you think they're just going to keep their mouth shut and play with it?
I think they'll keep it as a rivalry, but not like a heated rivalry. Like they'll keep it as like we're all friends in this league. It's not like we're all against each other. All friends in this league, and that's how we want it. We're just playing for fun, and I think they won't get mad about it or anything. I think they'll go back with it too, thinking it's funny. Yeah. At least I hope, and I think they'll respond with it well.
Yeah. Do you think that playing competitively can make things not fun, or do you think it's just how people take it when other people play competitively?
Probably a little of both. I think playing competitively makes it makes it more fun, but playing too competitively, it can get out of hand, and we've seen just competitiveness can go either way. It just depends how much of it you have.
Yeah. So what do you think makes things go from competitive to over competitive and ruins the fun in the game?
I think taunting, like as I think taunting shouldn't. I don't think anybody should taunt. Or a disrespectful sign. I think the M thing. I don't think it would be like that. I think if it's focused on one player specifically, or when a team messes up or has a big flaw, I think if they don't. I think they shouldn't shame them for that. Competitiveness can get out of hand. Like if you're purposely throwing a ball at a player just to hurt them or to like taunt them or make fun of them in some way. I think intentional walks aren't. I don't think if you're intentionally walking someone too much, I don't think it's that friendly. But if you're intentionally walking like once or twice, I think that can slide as just normal competitiveness.
Yeah. So with the taunting, you said to a single player, do you think that celebrations, just in general, like the sword celebration that I do, like the screaming, like doors and stuff like that, do you think any of that's legal, and do you think it should be legal?
I think it's legal unless it's personalized to the player. Like if you're all doing the sword every time he goes out, I think that's fine. But if you're only doing it one specific player when they strike out, I don't think that would be fair. Or you customize it for them.
Yeah. But if you if you did a sword celebration on like every time that it, like Trevor Bauer does the sword when they do like when it gets too close to their chest, they like do weird swings and stuff. He'll do sword, but because he doesn't do it to every player, do you think that's taunting because it's to a single player if he was in our league with the same rules?
Well, if he was only doing it a single player, I say that shouldn't be allowed. But if he was doing it like every once in a while to all different players, I think that would be allowed.
Yeah. Do you think doing the sword celebration in general, like on every strikeout, even if it isn't like a true Trevor Bauer sword, do you think that doing the sword celebration could be someone's celebration and is allowed to? I mean, it's okay to be used, and like even if it's not like the true Trevor Bauer sword.
Yeah, I think they should be allowed to use it unless the batter asks them to not do it. I think they shouldn't. If they ask them not to do it, they shouldn't do it. But if they haven't asked them to do it, or maybe they think it's funny or something, if they think it's funny too, I think they should just let it slide as just fun competitiveness.
Oh, that's a good way to put it, saying fun competitiveness, you know. So, do you think that, I don't know how to word this, do you think that competitiveness, well, I already asked you that, but, would you say that, being too serious about wiffle ball and, being too competitive about wiffle ball in this league is not allowed? I mean, what would you describe this league? Would you say that it should, in the end, like in the next few years, do you think it's going to be more competitive, or do you think it's going to be more fun, or what do you think is going to end up?
I think it's going to be a little less competitive. I think it'll get maybe a little more fun. I think if we right now take the right steps forward for the players that are coming up to this league, I think if they see a league that is having fun, not too competitive, they aren't taunting each other, I think when they see this, they'll think it's a good league to come to, and they also won't do it, since if they don't see other people doing it, why should they do it?
It's actually a really good way to put this. I mean, you might be one of the best interviewers, and you're our first, like, well, not interviewers, but some of the people that we've interviewed, and you're like our first. But do you think that, like, if, like, so people have said that I'm too competitive in the league and stuff, and that and that I need to get a life and, like, stuff like that, because I pitch too much, I guess I train too much. Do you think that if I make it to MLW and I put all my competitiveness on that, do you think that it's gonna roll over? I mean, it's gonna make the ALWB more fun when I'm playing here.
I think it might really be. If you have less competitiveness, I think it'll be a lot more fun.
Yeah. So you think that, like, my competitiveness would be focused more on MLW and would not be focused on this league?
Yeah, I think this is, like, not saying that it's not like a real league, that we shouldn't take it seriously, but it's just for fun. We're also just trying to play out here for fun. It's not like, if we're not out here to win like a big championship. There aren't people betting on us to win. Yeah. We're just out here to have fun and just competitive. I think there should be competitiveness, but too much shouldn't be allowed. It's just all for fun. Mm-hmm. If people aren't having fun, our whole point of this league was to have fun.
Okay, so with competitiveness, what do you mean by that? Because, like, I know I've asked this question like 4 different ways, but so, like, if, say I was throwing an immaculate inning and I didn't say anything and I didn't do any celebrations, I didn't make any faces, it was just those strikes and that was all I'm focused on, and then I'm off the field. Do you think that that's too competitive, or do you think that if celebrations are put in and stuff, then it becomes too competitive? Or, like,
I think putting celebrations in there I don't think it would make it too competitive unless you're, like, repeated celebrations, personalized, like, that stuff. I don't think that should be allowed, but if you're dead serious on it, I don't think that if you're focused, you're just focusing. Like, if you're not, they can't be calling you out, you're way too competitive. Well, you're just trying to focus on the game. You're not taking it you're taking it not too seriously. You're just focused on the game to do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, great way to put it. All right, I don't even know what time we're at, and it's like editing time. I mean, it's 7 o'clock at night right now, but which isn't too bad. But right here in Ohio, it's like dead dark and stuff. So put that back. Is there any questions that you want to ask me during the interview or anything during, like, this second part, or whatever? Any questions you want to have to ask me for anything?
Not any. I don't have many you've kind of answered questions throughout how you're wording your questions to me, so I don't have any questions for you.
Mm-hmm. Also, if you could name any five 5 players that are reasonable. Well, 5 people that are reasonable to get here to interview for football and like to be in your spot. Who do you think that would be?
I think probably Caleb, Alex. I think Ryan might take it more seriously for it, but he might show up. He might be good for it.
Do you think that we should do a special interview? Well, no, it'd still be the same interview, but it'd be special because we could have Tyler and Evan here at the same time talking about the suspensions and how they felt about it and stuff. Or do you think that
if they're still staying heated, I don't think so. But if they're calming down a little, if wording that as just calming down, like if they're not as heated, I think it would be a good idea to get them in here, hear their side of the story, hear what they think is right and what is wrong.
Mm-hmm. Do you think? How do you think that interview would go? Wait. Also, how many people did you name? You named 5. You named 5. You named 5 because it was Tyler. Yeah. Okay.
What?
I just edited your accidentally, and I didn't. And I just restarted it. Okay. So, I have just a couple more questions for you, and then we'll be wrapped up tonight. But how do you feel like you're gonna do, and what do you feel like your position is for this season?
I'm hoping I hope to try to make the games less chaotic. And as announcing, it's just something that I've wanted to do for the league. It seemed fun, so I wanted to try it, and basically that's it. Just trying to help the league. I'm trying to help the league in any way to make it better on the long go and on the overtime and as an out.
So with the Kings actually are trying to take a team to the MLW Wiffle in the Mitten tournament. And with me, I mean, I'll just say with Grant, so I'm an outsider point of view. With Grant being the team captain for that team and manager, do you think that, I mean, because it's not a league game, it's not a league thing, do you think that you should be allowed to play for the Kings during that tournament? Because you're not in the league during that time?
Yeah, I think that's a yes.
Yeah, and also, who do you think should be on that team? Because it's 3 to 4 players, and a pitcher can't pitch a full game. I mean, there's some other rules that go into there, but who do you think should be on that team, and who do you think your best is on that team?
You as one, Alex Culbertson, I think Caleb.
And then you, because that'd be 4 players.
Yeah, probably me or someone else.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's around 4.
Okay. And do you think that the Kings should pay fully for that, or do you think that they should, any player that's playing in it should pay a part of it, but the Kings will pay
Like
the Kings will play the majority of it.
The Kings will pay half of it, say just half of it, and then the other half, let's say there are 4 players, we split it, they each play a fourth of the other half, or 1/8 of the whole total for it. So I think that's how it should go. It's a Kings thing, so they should pay half, and then but the players should also pay 1/8 of it or 1/4 of the half.
And then a committee side note right here. Do you have any rules that you would like to change for in the committee, or in the rule book, or any ideas you're gonna put out there to show everyone?
Yeah, I think a peg. If a peg has been successfully made and the ump calls it a successful peg, I think if the ball rolls out of bounds, I think it shouldn't count. I think it should be a dead ball if someone gets pegged. It should be like a dead ball. So I don't think, if it's going out, I don't think runners should still be able to run if someone gets pegged. Like if a player hits the ball and then you get pegged while you're running, I think the play should still go on. But if they're pitching, you're taking a little lead off, they hit you, I think the play should be called dead ball and no one should be able to run.
Yeah, and that would be out. Okay. And so, as you're the new Kings committee member, do you think that do you think that well, what do you what do you want to tell everyone that you're going to do for the Kings and specifically help with? Like,
I'm not trying to make rules in favor of the Kings. I'm trying to make it in favor of everybody. I'm out there for everybody. I'm not out there just looking out for my own team. I'm thinking of everybody else's. I want to hear their ideas and think about it and process them. So I kind of already answered this question.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you did some of that. Do you think that there are any rules in there that were put in that got approved or something by that helped just the Kings or got sorted out by the Kings?
Not that I think.
Oh, so you're not saying that because of past experiences? You're just saying that because of.
I don't think any of the rules are going in. I don't think any of the rules are specifically going in favor of the Kings because I don't see any rules specific to the Kings that would make them better in the league over anybody else. It's the players on the Kings that are making them better. They're getting prospects and they're also making them very good players for the league, which I think is unfair because and it's so I don't think any of the rules are leaning towards the Kings in their favor.
Fair. And do you have anything else you want to tell everyone before we wrap this up, or do you have any questions or anything you want me to ask you or you want to talk about before we end this?
No.
All right. Thank you for watching. I hope you got some information from this. If you have anyone or any ideas or anything you want us to talk about, just anything in general over anything we've said, just comment it down below. I'll take a look at it, and then hopefully this is out by January 1st. We'll see how fast I can get this edited.
As of now, it is Christmas Day.
Yes, it is Christmas Day right now, so we're gonna see how close it gets us to get out there. Thank you. All right, see you guys.